Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the February Board of Directors monthly meeting for Neuse Charter School. As is our regular schedule, first thing we'll call the meeting to order and begin the evening with celebrations and recognitions by Dr. Julie Jello.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Welcome to our meeting tonight. It is my pleasure tonight to recognize these wonderful Neuse Charter School students and staff. And I will begin with recognizing our wrestling team members. And I will start with Bryce Lyons. Bryce Lyons, could you please come up here? Mr. Gupta, could you come up here as well? You have to cross this out. And Bryce is being recognized tonight for qualifying for state wrestling championship. We also have Tristan Wellens qualifying for state wrestling championships as well. Could you please come up here? Here is Bryce. Here is Tristan's. Mr. Melton, would you like to share any information about our wrestling team? We are so proud of them.
Yes, ma'am. These two young men, they were our school's first ever state qualifiers for the wrestling tournament that was held up in Greensboro last weekend. And the guys went up there, they represented us very well. Not only did they represent us well in the classroom, but just in order to get to the state, you have to qualify through the regional events. So for this to be our first two wrestlers in Neuse Charter School history, y'all's name will always be remembered as the first two. It won't be the last. We've got a very strong team coming back next year, and these guys competed very well. Rice had a win at the state meet, and next year we look forward to seeing the team continue to move on. But it's a very big event for our wrestling program to have our first ever state qualifiers.
Thank you. This time, I would like to recognize students who participated in our middle school math counts competition. And I will start by calling to the front to receive her award, Christine Starr. Alexis Crozier. She's not here. Here we go. Cameron Lewis. Sean Lambert. Not here. Elliot Sullivan. Not here. Miss Casey Atkinson was our math counts coach. Would you like to say something, Miss Atkinson?
Sure. Math counts is like Battle of the Books. Instead of competing against what we read, we're competing on a 6th to 8th grade math level. Some of the problems excel past 8th grade. Next year we hope to get more 6th and 7th graders involved. This year our team consisted of 8th graders. We did have some 6th and 7th graders attend the club, but for competition purposes we would like to see 8 to 10 rather than 5 next year. And hopefully, possibly even open it up to 5th grade to come to club time, just so that they can get to have the feeling of it, so when they hit 6th grade, they're ready to roll with it. They are unable to get peak until 6th grade, but I'm very proud of all of our kids. They did awesome. They represented Neuse well out of 150 kids there. They came out pretty confident, so I was very happy with them.
Thank you. I would like to recognize Haley Wagner for receiving an honorable mention at the NC Regional Science Fair. And this also is a first for our school. And I would like to ask Ms. Thornblood to say something. She was the organizer for this event.
February 13th, we sent 10 students with 8 projects to the Region 3A North Carolina Science and Engineering Fair. And Haley Wagner received an honorable mention for her project, and we are super excited. I asked her what she would like me to say, and I said, what do you want me to say? Like you're a scientist and a genius and amazing? She says, yes. So we hope that she'll be able to go back in the future and keep working on her science. And we hope that next year we'll continue to grow the program and continue to send middle school projects, high school projects. And you want to tell them what the name of your project was?
Stain removing chemical or natural butter. And what we did was we put 3 stains and 4 stains actually, 2 chemical and 2 natural cleaners, and we tried to see which one would clean better.
And which one cleaned better?
Baking soda worked best on blood, and blood actually cleaned very well, but it seemed chemical and shout worked the best on all. But if you have white clothing, use bleach.
That's science. Let's do that.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to recognize Elizabeth Klishevitz, and she is being recognized for being selected to the Southeast District Middle School Band. And also Martine Missy for being selected to the Southeast District High School Band. And I'd like Ms. Williams to share a little about this because she is the teacher responsible for our school band.
These two did an amazing job. First and foremost, for high school, Martine had to audition for that part of the district, there was a crazy amount of students who were there. There were 750 students just at that audition space alone. So out of 20 students, he was selected for 5th chair French horn. He did a great job. Elizabeth also did a great job. There was over 500 students at the middle school district, and she was selected as 2nd chair, and there were well over 20 students who applied or auditioned for that chair, so she did an amazing job.
Thank you. Give them a really big round.
Elizabeth plays mallets, which is xylophone, and thank you so much to the JCC donation. That's helped a lot tremendously.
Thank you, Dr. Kellogg. At this time, the next portion of our agenda would be the public comment section. We allow those in attendance who have signed up to speak for up to 3 minutes regarding any matters that they wish. We have 2 individuals who have signed up to speak. We'll call them out in the order that they signed up. First one is David Stark.
First of all, I just want to thank the board. I know I don't come up here too often giving praise, but when it comes to Mr. Melton, you guys did an outstanding job, and I just wanted to say thank you. And I appreciate everything that he does for the kids as well as the parents. Looking at the minutes from last month's meeting, it said that Neville made a motion to accept minutes and modify, noting that the statement from Kathleen Stark about a paycheck and insufficient funds during public comments was unfounded and wanted to strike. And a question I had is, Mr. Lloyd seconded the motion, and did he have any part in taking a look at the financials to see? And then it was unanimous. So I just wondered if anybody actually did their homework or you guys just went along with what Davidson said. Further clarification, I wanted to just ask that has NCS had financial issues? Issues would be defined as insufficient funds, late payment, or any other funding issues that would cause delay or payment to staff and or vendors. If so, would you please provide clarification? Another one would be, has the board given any further consideration to having a teacher on the board as far as a non-voting member? Seems like that would be something good for the teachers. And also, I noticed that there has been no call for a nominations yet. And I know that a lot of the board members here have far exceeded their terms and are serving on the board's behalf on a yearly basis. And I couldn't find it in the policy and procedures as far as, do you guys take nominations, or do you just bypass that and just keep the same individuals on, just giving them another year? So I noticed that in February, you guys should be coming out, and I haven't seen anything yet for new board members. And I was curious too, I noticed before you mentioned about having a student representative on the board, and to this point I haven't seen one. So I wonder if you guys are still working on that. Also, in old business, academic subcommittees, have you guys decided on those? These are past actions that you guys are going to get together. I don't know if you guys have come up with that, or you also had a communication strategy and media training. So that's it. I'm at my 3 minutes, so I thank you, and thank you again, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Stark. Next is Chris Johnson.
Chairman. I also want to echo Mr. Stark's comments, but really just for the entire high school staff. From my understanding, that we've received our fall high school test scores of 95%, and so I just want to give kudos to all of our staff, and would like to, I don't know if we're going to be talking about this later on tonight, but making sure that this information gets out to the public from our fall test scores. As a parent and also as a board member, it's not our role to get involved in personnel issues regarding the teachers, but I just want to publicly state that I'm disappointed in whichever teacher felt it necessary to speak to parents about the payroll situation. I was not here at the last board meeting. I was busy attending some personal business or my job-related business. But to tie in a scheduled DPI meeting that we had scheduled months in advance to a situation that was completely out of our control, when we have a third-party administrator that failed to notify the bank within the appropriate time so that payroll can be met within that day. I just want to make sure that I find it disappointing that our several teachers felt it necessary to try to tie two things that were completely separate. When I get an email from a parent saying that we're in financial issues and DPI's on campus because of that, which it had nothing to do, one had nothing to do with the other. So to echo, I don't know how much time I've got left, and I apologize. 1 minute. I just want to reiterate to the parents and to the staff here that we're on financial solid footing, that we had never, ever have had any problems with our finances as it relates to the payroll situation, that it was a goof up and a mistake by a third party, which we have already addressed since that time. So I do apologize to the teachers for not getting paid on the one particular day and being delayed for 24 hours. So I do apologize that the buck does stop here, but it was completely out of our control.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. At this time, if you would, you have in your packets the minutes from the last month's meeting for your review and approval. I will entertain a motion.
I was not here, but I'll be more than happy to make a motion to approve the minutes as presented with the assumption that everything meets the other board members' satisfaction.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. PTO report. Charity here. Is there no, do we have a report? No report from PTO for this month. Booster Club, Hillary, his lights, or any representative?
She's preparing for the game.
Yeah. Okay, no report for Booster Club. Director's report, Dr. Jello.
I would like to report now on enrollment in the lottery, which is coming up in March. Our new 20% growth projection by DPI has now reached 1,038 students. So they have given us a new number. Last year we were 998, and this year we are 1,038. The projection number submitted to DPI is 944. That is our highest number. We always have three numbers, and the three are 944, 926, and 905. We always cater for 2% attrition rate. Realistically, our budget will be built on usually our low number, which funds all class sizes at their current numbers in most of the grade levels. We will try hard to reach 944 in our first 20 days, if it's reachable. The good thing about that is that if we don't, we will not be in the same jeopardy as we were last year. If we don't, I guess we will be higher than 905, which is where our budget hopefully will be built on with the finance committee needs. Except for kindergarten and first grade, this means that we now have few seats available in the grade levels going into the lottery on March 17th. Lottery, a sibling letter will be sent to only parents of siblings who are applying during the week prior to the lottery. That letter was shared at the last board meeting. After the lottery, siblings will be called as space becomes or seats become available by order of the entry date of the first currently enrolled sibling. The lottery will be held in this same room, the Commons of the high school, and will begin at 6 o'clock. There are no seats in any grade level except for kindergarten and first grade at this time. If they were waiting lists or sibling lists for 11th and 12th graders, we will be adding 10 additional students, but there are no student on the waiting list or siblings list for 11th and 12th graders. To date, we are finalizing details for a smooth lottery on March 17th. As we have done in the past, the lottery is run and supervised by the Board of Directors. And I sincerely hope that I will see, if not all of you, most of you there. Thank you.
Dr. Jello.
Did you say we had room 10th grade?
Yes. 11th and 12th.
10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yes.
And when you say we have room, we have that open seats, is that
Yes.
10? I'm sorry, how many seats? I was under them.
5 and 11, 5 and 12.
5 and 11, 5 and 12.
Via the
How
lottery.
many 10th?
Pardon me?
How many 10th?
In 10th grade, oh, I'm sorry. We have 6 siblings in 10th grade.
How many room in 10th grade?
Yes, after the siblings are added. Yes.
1365.
I just want to let the board know that I'm working on something as it relates, and it may work well with us, is that I've been approached by one parent in particular, but I would hope that other parents may in the future take advantage of this or expose our school to this, is the foreign exchange student opportunity. We've got parents that are looking at that. Obviously, they have students and children already attending here, and how do we, if we can make exceptions or if the state will allow that, I think it's going to be above this board. It's going to be something that may have to be addressed at the state level. But I just want to make sure that, obviously, we've talked about global awareness and global education, and that's kind of our beginning theme, so to speak. If we can look for opportunities to bring foreign exchange students in that are already associated with the parents that attend here, I'd like for us to see if we can do that. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. No, that's something completely different. This is actually legitimate foreign exchange students, and we've had, unfortunately, I know that we've had some families within the Smithfield-Selma community that have had foreign exchange students that had unsuccessful or dealings with the traditional public school, and would have loved to have been able to enroll them here had we had the space. So anyway, I'd just like to make sure that our students, I think it's both beneficial not only to the student coming from another country, but for our students interacting with someone from another country as well.
You want to do regarding siblings again, are we at risk in any of the elementary or middle school grades of any siblings? There not being any vacant siblings? We are?
Yes, and that's why they've been going all year, and they have a letter that was read over that will be on.
Okay. So it's not automatic due to the number of siblings in it? Okay.
And the first grade is the only elementary grade that has no further siblings right now.
In second grade, we have 6 siblings. In third grade, we have 2. Fourth grade, 3. Fifth grade, 3. Sixth grade, 5. Seventh grade, 7. Eighth grade, 9. 10th grade, 9th grade, 3. 10th grade, 2. And 11th grade, 12th grade, 0.
And those are siblings that are going to be enrolled next year? There's
In
space in all those grades for all
They
those?
could be if we had space.
I see. Okay, I see.
They will have sibling priority, yes.
For that grade that
For
you
that grade.
Okay.
Just going back to the student body number, we're 865 this year, and the middle number that you had for next year was 926. That's an increase of 60 kids. Where are we going to put them? Do we have the physical space for that many more? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well, I
And
mean,
we need that fresh, so we're going to be back fresh.
okay.
Right.
Any other questions for the director's report? Next item is consent agenda. If you'll notice in your packet, there are some items toward the back. There is a request for advertisement placed about the lottery.
What's that, getting Dr. General on staff for the budget on that line item?
That's how we have the advertisement.
That was already approved? Okay. So the one for this month are the field trip for the Model United Nations Conference. And then the second one is the senior class trip to Atlanta.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, so approved. Thank you from the Finance Committee on that. Next, we're into our committee reports. Executive Committee. The Executive Committee met the month of February. Without overlapping too much, there was discussion about the lottery as mentioned. There was discussion regarding ending staffing and getting ready for next year, which was mostly the discussion of the upcoming year. We did discuss the need for next year to have field trips to be planned or scheduled toward the front end of the year, not so much within a month of or 2 months before, but try to get those pre-planned as recently as or as expeditiously as possible. Anyone have anything else from the executive committee for the board? I think, yeah, it was pretty much field trips and looking at staffing for next year based on enrollment and our enrollment numbers. So that's all I have for executive committee at this time. Finance committee.
So we have reviewed the numbers with Acadia. I was looking to actually see if I had the updated one in front of me. We have reviewed all the expense line items. Everything is on track. One area that was discovered in regards to federal grant money that was that we had received in previous years. We did not receive that. There was another call to the school. Basically, the feedback we got from the EC department was that those federal grant monies had run out. So that was some projected revenue that we didn't get. We'll make that up in the budget. There was another area as it relates to our EC students. We came on the year with 75 EC students. We got funded at 80. Apparently there was a change in the way you have to do your transfers of your EC students. And basically what it boiled down to was there's about 15 students with EC funding that we did not receive. We're in the process now with Dr. J. Law, you've been made aware of appealing this up to the Office of Charter Schools and DPI. Again, it was nothing intentional. It was just a matter of they had changed the system in some of the transfer, and actually come to find out we didn't qualify for it last year either. But we didn't really. That wasn't really a big issue because we didn't have a significant number of our EC students, so those were actually transfers in. Conveniently enough, that if a student transfers out, they immediately deduct the funds, but they don't.
But they don't immediately deposit.
It was pretty disappointing that, you know, when we go inquire about it, they tell us that, well, you know, here's the funds you should have gotten, but we didn't tell you about it. So anyway, we're in the process of reconciling that up with the Office of Charter Schools and DPI. It will be reported as a deadline for our future fiscal meeting to make sure that, you know, going into next year we are accurate there. We went through detailed line item by the budget. The gap that was resulted from that revenue, that loss of revenue income, we feel like we can get pretty close to making that up between now and the end of the year. So we'll be able to give a more accurate update on that in the next week. Other than that, we're in good shape.
Chairman, I'll admit some really good work from members done in that on the budget. It's leadership, all dedicated job. Getting engaged on that. We've got a couple of meetings this month. There's a lot of activity.
And we did get the preliminary audit draft from last year before the year ending was all this.
We'll be getting a copy of that, or an official copy.
Get the final draft.
They have not shared exactly what they have sent about.
When do you usually get it? Is it June? May? For some reason, yeah, I was thinking, okay.
Just to put it in perspective, you know, in a couple of areas, is that this is just for us to think about for future reference. You know, the quote from the DPI for those 15 students came in the order of like $100,000. So we're not talking about $5,000 or $10,000 here. That in the federal grant money was on the order of what that we traditionally got.
It's about $200,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
EC grant, 181.
So it was another $100,000 in the federal grant money for some of those EC students that we just didn't get. So I think a good thing to be mindful of as we set the budget for next year. This is the first time ever that the school didn't get it.
Was there a notification from DPI or?
Well, I mean, we actually questioned why we didn't get it. It was had a lot to do with some of the rubric that we used to describe the EC students, and some people reclassified it, et cetera. And some of them they just ran out of funds. And then they prioritized the funding to schools that had the biggest need, and we just fell below the line. So I think it'll be prudent of us as we look at the budget for next year, just to think about that and proactively and bake that into the budget. And one other thing I will mention is that, you know, as we really wanted to make up that difference, right, as we look towards now and the end of the year, one of the things that we did do, because we believe in our teachers and our staff, is that, you know, the bonus and the payouts and the step increases that we adhere to, you know, that wasn't a pretty significant additional expenditure on the books for us. And just to put it in perspective, about for every $100,000 of increase in compensation that you add to your books, you're adding another 23 to 25%. That's kind of a conservative number. Additional expenditures above and beyond that for taxes and benefits and liabilities. So that's just something as we think about, you know, our compensation strategy in the future, and those things that come down from the state, we have to look really closely to make sure that the increase in allotment at the APM level would actually offset the expenditures that we incur, not just the salary.
With the fringe.
And from the research I've done and actually looking and digging into how that's actually calculated, that's the engineer side of me coming out, is it doesn't look to me like they adjust the compensation based on the teachers and experience you have on the board. It's an average formula across your population. So we're just going to have to take a look at that really close as we think about, you know, more tenured teachers and stuff in the future, and as hopefully our teachers stay as they grow through their tenure. We're just going to have to take that all into account as we set future budgets.
Very good report. Thank you to remember Don and Neville and Chairman Worley for your work on that. I know there's been a lot of meetings this week, discovered some information from DPI. Any other questions for Finance Committee? Personnel, nothing for open session. We will need to go into closed session. Audit.
The academic subcommittee had their first meeting with Mr. Melton, Ms. Johnson, and Dr. Jill to discuss some immediate concerns with CCP, as well as to set up our plans for moving the subcommittee forward. That was followed up with some notes from Mr. Dunn regarding the summary of the meeting, where we were focusing on the upcoming articulation agreement, as well as enrichment programs for the school, and then a operational calendar for reading out data, academic data, and reporting for from the school. And our next step, we're meeting, Rodney, March 14th, and we need to follow up on items that we discussed, as well as expand the committee with some teacher nominations. You want to give an update on the articulation agreement?
Yes. Since that meeting, I have met with JCC, Dr. Arp, who is the head of humanities, and
To the foundational studies.
So in any case, we met, and she met with us as a team. We discussed the articulation, and at this time, she and I and the team here at the New Charter School are working together to formulate a draft that we will present later on to the board for approval. So we have worked on it, and it is in the process of being finalized.
I would make just a recommendation, since there's elements of it that have financial impact, that you might want to run some things through the finance committee before you move closer to a final draft to present to the full board, as well as running through the academic subcommittee on the issues that relate to awarding credit. And then once those committees are fine with the language and you finalize it, then it will be ready for presentation to the full board.
Thank you, Ms. Dixon. Resource development. And while you're on the seat, board development. Was it you?
Yeah.
Right.
I would like to support, it's for an ongoing capital campaign. It's combined. It's not a big campaign. It's more like a $10 or $20, $30 a month contribution. Because if I go to a parent and say, give me $100 for X, $100 might be a little steep. But if we have parents that give them $10 a month, well, $10, most people can afford a $10 a month reduction on their checks. You go to, whether, you just got to figure out what it's going to be allocated to. It's going to be allocated to resources, books, teacher pay, or whatever it is. You got to come up with something where we get an ongoing contribution from our parents. Because what's happening is we got a lot of parents that do a lot. We got a few parents that do a lot, and we got a lot that don't do anything. And so it's a way for them to give back. A lot of them don't know how to do it. How to get plugged in. This would be an easy way for you to plug in and just wrap around another camera. We call it,
It was better
it take. I pay 10 a month. I pay 20 a month. I pay 30 a month. There we go. But we got to do something because, here we sit, another meeting, and we don't have anything to play. And, we need some bigger funds for a capital campaign. These other little things are important too. I mean, it could be the difference of resources in the classroom for $1,000. Those kinds of funds can be certainly raised.
Kind of like a News Charter School Foundation.
That's right.
Don't we have, is that already?
Well, we got a family school. That was,
I mean, that's just on the surface. That's not a
501c3.
no, the family club was done just as a.
It's more of a name type of thing, like a checking account.
Other than the first year. It's first year.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, yeah.
So getting to the school specifically does not fall
It would, yeah.
It would, but
It would under Dave's recommendation, it's just we don't have a.
Yeah,
We don't have a
foundation.
vehicle.
I think we just need to run to the school and have a separate account for those funds.
that's fine.
In case of, and then that way everybody gets a tax reduction.
Yeah, we just developed some policies and procedures around use of funds, so it's transparent.
That sounds like something that would come through the finance committee, establishing the fund, and then
Oh,
not only, yes, you do that.
I would wonder if KS Bank could set something up for us and go do print the paper and print through all the legwork. I mean, since they put it in their account. I would.
Well, we run all our stuff through the meeting.
Yeah.
Do we need to look at, as far as if someone wants to say, I'll give, but I want it to go to the library?
Well, that's where we get into problems, and I think
we earmark about 10 different areas that it can go into. And wherever the needs is great, that's where it goes.
Stay on those 10 areas. That's right. And make sure that people know what they're doing with their money.
It's not going to go to athletics, it's not
whatever
gonna go
area it is. Right.
Other areas we've got to go.
It's reported on every so often. This is where the money is.
I mean, I will say, Melissa's been good about, that there's been requests, we could have some money that they would like to go to this purpose, and we'll give it to the
think you still do that. I mean, if there's
This
special
is,
need.
what you're talking about is separate, just an ongoing.
Like if your child's in a science classroom and they don't have money to do a lab, you know, by all means, parent can contribute to the school so they do that lab. That can still go on. I mean, it just gives the people an opportunity, a way to plug in.
Well, the key thing is if somebody comes up and asks, where can we make a donation to, it's already in place. Instead of, I don't know, let me check back.
You don't go to any websites now if there's not a donate now button on there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good point.
And also, we have a retrial Stroud School
We talked about doing a Silver Cougars Club, you know, where the grandparents could, do $100 a year to support their. What? No, it's just silver. You probably, I've got more silver than any of them. Me and Jimmy Ray.
Well, we'll look at it. If Finance Committee will look at that at its next meeting, maybe set it up for over the summer.
Yeah, we explore it, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to have it rolled out with orientations over the next year.
Or have it rolled out the new year in August. Or when it
No, we
comes.
need to do it at a way, we need to pass it out at the lottery, we need to be,
Sooner better, but Finance Committee had that happen.
Yeah, and just on a note there, Chair, one of the things that we're going to look at when we come back from one of the finance reports is a consolidated view of across Booster Club and PTO, as well as the budget, to give a holistic 360 view of the operational costs of the school and some of the expense allocation, just so people put in perspective what it takes to really run the school.
Very good. Thank you. Policy development. No report.
Well, facilities lease, I think we're still working on.
I apologize, I was not here last month's meeting, so
So we're finalizing that. College credit textbook and reimbursement, I would imagine need to be developed because they coincide with the articulation agreement. So if those, I would imagine would be presented at the same time as the actual agreement. And then delegation of authority was a future policy that we had talked about meeting. I can't honestly remember who was authoring that.
I'm sure we nominated Chris to do that since he was not here.
I was saying it was either Chris or Michelle. But going back to facilities lease, we may have a request coming up, possibly March, maybe April, where the town of Smithfield co-sponsors the Dale Ham.
I apologize. I was thinking lease and facilities. I apologize. Okay.
No, that's what
We said facilities, lease policy. I was thinking of what Jimmy was talking about and already thinking about, well, do we need those two buildings out there next year? So that's what I was.
No, this was the meeting we had about.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're close. We're almost done.
we're almost there. Yes, I'll have something.
Okay, because I expect that'll come up between, or no later than the next board meeting.
Understand.
Are we still going to pursue a delegation of authority? Because, it's on my agenda to stay on your,
Yes.
so we just keep it on there?
Yes. And now facilities.
Well, we're still in the process of, the steel has been ordered and I have not walked over there, so I don't know if they've done anything. They put the fencing up and start doing the grading. And kind of follow up to what Dave was talking about and Jimmy was mentioning where we'll put the kids. The intent was to move either the kindergartners and or second grade over to the new wing and remove these two trailers. We have not done anything as up with Vanguard yet, saying we'd like to send those back yet. And I'm sure that
challenge with that is it's gonna cost us, I would speculate 15 to 20 to break it down. And I don't think our release payments are that much. So, yeah, we you know, if we're unsure if we're gonna do one or two, I'd say we keep them, because again,
Well, the intent was to try to start a building campaign the following year, and I don't know if that's in our crosshairs following year, so it's going to be my recommendation, just if it would have to be right now, and to just keep it there, and then look at maybe expanding our kindergarten classes. Right now, we only have 3. If we are, that doesn't mean we would move them over there to that facility.
we've got 4 classrooms.
We got 4 classrooms over there.
Absolutely. In the space here, how many kids do we have?
We got 60 new ones, so that will hold 80. Or 85, 88. 20 in the classroom.
Right. Right.
But 20 is the whole 80, we got 60 new ones, so there's where to go. Well, I apologize, I'm sorry. Repeat all that. The intent is we're probably not going to return the modules, we're going to keep those just due to cost of breaking them down, and then also look at expanding and having a 4th kindergarten class.
Communications?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Communications Task Force has met twice already, and we're meeting again this coming Thursday afternoon. We've made a lot of progress, sir. We're using military templates for responses. We're engaging local law enforcement for the types of responses that they give, that they would recommend for us to give in incidents of crisis. Discussing levels of incident, what triggers the need for board action before something can be released, or what can be handled by administration in various scenarios like that. We've created an initial response book for the front desk along with Ms. Heifel, and so we're already putting a couple of things into place as far as being able to handle incidents and requests from the media. I'm just amazed by Ms. Mann and the knowledge that she's bringing right into the room. Yeah, I mean, we're basing a lot of what we're doing off of military responses. There's some looking towards how to give the entire staff the tools to respond to questions that get out in the public, or should Channel 5 drive up on the front yard and put a camera in the face. So that we'll move along some more this Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, that's a really, really good committee. So Andrew Jenkins and Brad Williams as well. Really moving to the meetings and a lot of engagement from the members. We really appreciate that.
Very good. Pleased to see it matriculated. Old business. Any more discussion? Any new business? Having heard none, for our earlier committee reports, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel and administrative discussions. I have a motion. Is there a second? And a second. Meeting is adjourned to closed session.